Okay, wonderful. Let's have a round of applause again from the panelists. And of course, we have the architect of NAFTA on one side and the modernization of GATT on the other side, and you have Michigan ties. So I know, I think you were the third female cabinet member in the history of the United States under Gerald Ford, is that correct? So there's original Secretary HUD. So in her spare time, she built HUD. So congratulations and welcome to Arizona. Obviously, you've heard a little bit of this conversation about the complexity in Washington, D.C. It really kind of speaks to why metro planning and the partnership with Brookings Institute and the Global Cities Initiative occurs. I know Mayor Stanton has been one of our great leaders on it. Scott Smith, the former mayor of Mesa, who's also the former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, here today somewhere. So Mayor Smith, thank you very much. I want to acknowledge Scott's leadership. And beyond that, he has no real interest in this initiative, but he's also a candidate for governor and one of the real bright shining stars here in our community from a leadership standpoint. So our perspective at GPEC, the Greater Phoenix Economic Council, is our economic development efforts are built around this metro notion. And as Mayor Stanton said, 24 cities, 24 mayors, 120 councilmen, 5 county supervisors, 175 companies, 32 CEOs serve at GPEC to build this type of inclusive leadership model that we're talking about here today. And Jim Lane, our chairman, and Don Smith, our vice chairman's here today. And so a lot of times people complain about leadership, but this initiative is about taking advantage of the leadership that's working here in this community. And on the ground, business leaders, mayors, and county supervisors, university presidents, community college leaders are working hard to change our economic future. So as we've worked into our new economy, as we sit here and recover, we know the post-recession data and the post-recession numbers that are coming along in Greater Phoenix and throughout Arizona, they're mixed. On one hand, we're leading the nation in job growth. We're leading the nation in new business formation. We're leading the nation in small business development. But yet, as we recover, we realize part of our challenge before was we were too dependent upon consumption, construction, and housing, and our recovery is showing that dependency is even greater. This will be the first time in many, many years that our recession will last longer than the national average, even though our economy is coming around and becoming more robust. So when you think about these global cities initiatives and how we're working in a more global context, it really starts with how do you build a better quality of life for people in our community? The central success of a family is economic well-being. And to build that economic well-being, you have to have better schools and a better educational system. We have to pivot towards advanced industries. Of course, it's going to lead to higher paying jobs, and these higher paying jobs are going to give us greater tax base strengths that allow us to correct some of our great needs like literacy and other educational objectives. So this is going to be a business planning exercise on how we implement and execute a more efficient and more productive way to move from consumption to our export and advanced industry position. Now, we have a very strong export position. We're big beneficiaries of aerospace, defense, semiconductor, now energy and solar. Many of our service sector economies are led by financial services that are export related. So sitting 17th out of 100 metros is a pretty strong position to begin with. And of course, it speaks to the advantages of the North American Free Trade Agreement, Glenn Williamson's leadership, and the Canadian partnerships, all the many great things that are going on through Mexico. I mean, it pays to be in the NAFTA corridor. Doesn't hurt being next to California either. So when you think about our assessment and our exports, I mean, obviously computers and electronics are leading the way. But the intensity of our export position is slightly in decline because computers and electronics are contracting. One of the challenges in the high-tech sector is remaining relevant. And of course, as semiconductor starts to slightly decline, our relevancy from an export position has to be replaced by working more aggressively with small and medium enterprise firms as these larger firms over time naturally contract and become low-cost providers in the U.S. market. Transportation equipment, obviously, a tremendous lift from commercial moves in our defense sector out of people like Boeing and Honeywell. Royalties is a very exciting space. We have a 31% increase in our royalty business. That's a $1.3 billion business sector for this community. And royalties are basically income from design engineering services. So a lot of people think about Greater Phoenix, they think about weather and tourism. And by the way, we're up 61% in tourism. And that's a nice thing. You know, we love hotels, pay a lot of taxes. And of course, we get to meet a lot of great people. But I really think this royalty position on the design engineering speaks to where we can really take advantage of this, because people don't realize that right across the world, we're doing a lot of product development in Asia, China, Mexico. And when our guest speakers were talking about Mexico, when Mexico imports a product to the U.S., 40% of the labor into that product came from the U.S. market. So it is truly a trade and export-import relationship with our partners next door and sharing that border. This talks about our intensity. This is obviously something we have to be attentive to. This is in relationship to what has been the ongoing correction in the semiconductor space. And that intensity has to be lifted with new technologies. So one of the things that the Brookings Initiative is going to be doing as part of that Metropolitan Plan, we've retained Stanford Research, and we're evaluating what are those new technologies that we should be more robust in, that we should be exporting, and obviously healthcare device and data. You've heard some of the achievements in our healthcare community. Marty Schultz is here, the chairperson of our bioscience roadmap, aerospace systems. Now this gets into knowledge sectors, not just Apache helicopters, but the ability to create cybersecurity technology, sensing systems, intelligent control systems. Advanced materials with the opening of Apple and our parabolic mirrors and our glass capabilities in the West Valley. We're going to be one of the top 5 U.S. markets in the production and exporting of glass materials. And that is an industry that in 2008 did not even exist in our community. So when we move off our engineering base and we shift to export industries, and when we do it from a global perspective, you know, with our fast growth market, all of our enviable traits as an affordable place, easy to do business, it doesn't hurt with 335 days of sunshine, we can move quickly out of these data points into higher performing, more densely related economic outcomes. And then, of course, software and academic technologies, home to Apollo, University of Phoenix, Grand Canyon University, all the online education in the world started in Phoenix. And the ability to create academic technologies to create more jobs in the software space, as well as align that into educational solutions, is going to be a big opportunity going forward. So obviously, what's the vision? You know, by 2025, we want to be a top 10 metro, and that's going to be a big lift to move from 17 into the top 10. As Bill Daly is saying, you know, that is going to have to be based with a STEM education initiative. We got to do a better job of getting STEM qualified graduates out of our schools, and we got to make a bigger commitment to engineering out of our university systems. We want to increase our share to small and medium enterprises. That, of course, is a service model. You know, exports out of Intel and Honeywell and Boeing. You know, those companies are deep in their staff and their capabilities at generating exports, but small and medium enterprises need more support. So partnerships with the Arizona Commerce Authority and our chambers and our universities on the ground level, helping these small and medium enterprises realize big opportunities in new markets is going to be one of the paths forward. And then, of course, you know, our reputation. And our reputation is something that we're going to have to work hard to continue to establish. But our reputation is very good in China. Our reputation is excellent in Canada. But, you know, for obvious reasons, we have work to do in Mexico, and that's a very important partnership. So I was told that I had less than 10 minutes, and I think I accomplished that. You're welcome. And I look forward to working with everyone on the upcoming project with the Global Cities Initiative. Thank you.